this lesson on literal, L-I-T-E-R-A-L, equations, is pretty straightforward. It's actually a really easy lesson, but when you first look at it, you're like, what the heck? I don't get it. Let me just come over here for a minute and ask everybody, just somewhere on your paper, you can do it on the right side like me, solve that equation. Should be nice and easy, right? We minus the 1 to both sides, and then I get 2x equals 6. Then I divide by 2, and I get x equals 3. Now, this is a standard equation, and the only difference between the standard equation and a literal equation is now I might give you an equation that looks like this. Y equals mx plus b. And the difference between this equation and the other equation is, on the left side, there's only one variable. So it's kind of obvious that we're solving for x, and you just do what you do with the numbers. Now, I could solve for the y, which it already is, because it says y equals, the m, the x, or the b. So with a literal equation, we have to be very careful about saying what you're solving for. If you look here, it says solve for h, for x, for m, for b, for r. What it means in each of those equations is this: get that letter by itself. What does it mean? Right. So here, I'm going to solve for m here, okay? That means I want to get m by itself. So just like I attack the plus 1 here, I'm going to attack the plus b here and write minus b. And I get y minus b equals mx. Now, I know that's kind of weird, but the thing of it is, it's actually easier. See, how many times have you made a sloppy mistake on something like 7 minus 1? Right? In fact, if I looked at today's thing, I know they were fractions, but only 3 people got 100 on today's quiz because they did all the fraction work correctly, and the calculator actually did all of that fraction work for you, okay? So we make sloppy mistakes all the time, and whenever we involve numbers, now granted 7 minus 1 is pretty easy, but as soon as we start involving numbers, the potential for a sloppy mistake increases. I can't do y minus b, so I just write y minus b and I'm done. Now, is the m by itself yet? No. So the x is being multiplied. So just like here, when the 2 was being multiplied, I divide by 2. Here, I divide by x. I'm done. M equals y minus b over x. And that's the difference. I still do the same steps. I don't change anything about how I solve equations. I just realize that most of the time, I can't really do much with it. I can't do y minus b, so I just leave it. I can't divide them by x, so I just write it over x and I leave it. And that's it. You're done. So with that in mind, why don't you try number 3?
Instead of numbers, you're doing it with letters?
Exactly, and keeping in mind that I'm solving, in number 3's case, for h, so I wanted to say h equals.
Oh.
That's the big, that for part, F-O-R, is very important with these questions. If they don't tell you, then you can't do it. Whereas I don't really need to tell you to solve for x in the one on the left. That's pretty simple. Okay, so I want to get h by itself. What's happening to the h in the equation? Andre?
Getting b by itself.
What's happening to the h? When I say what's happening, I'm always looking for operations. Add, subtract, multiply, divide.
Oh, being multiplied.
Good, by what?
By W.
N,
L.
L. Right. So I need to do the opposite of multiply by L and W. So all I'm going to do is, come on, all I'm going to do is divide by L and W. So the answer is H equals V over LW. Done. H equals, or L over VW equals H. I know it kind of looks like a B, it just turned off there, yeah. V over LW is the correct answer. When you write this, don't just write V over LW, write V over LW equals H, because we're solving for H. Okay? Try number 4. Okay, so when it says solve 4x, what is that telling you?
And, you need to subtract B.
Well, in general, even more general than that,
Get x by itself.
get x by itself. So, to do that, the first thing I'm gonna do is exactly what Andre said. I'm gonna subtract the b. Y minus b equals mx, and then I'm going to divide by the m, and I get y minus b over m. Okay? All right, guys, now we have a better clue on these literal equations. Finish up your sheet. We'll do a little bit more work on it Monday. Hasta la vista. Vaya con Dios. Toodaloo. Ta-ta. Arrivederci. Smile a lot. Ciao. Arrivederci. Adios, amigos y amigas. Toodaloo. Ta-ta. What's up?